Hello everyone and welcome to We Who Are About to Die's live coverage. My name is Democratis.
And I'm Larry.
And we're here to bring you coverage straight from the pit fights themselves. Larry, who do we have up?
Appreciate you asking. Fighting for the Haney and Purple, we have Keelnir Tansy, a disgraced politician. He likes to claim the hatred comes from his father, but we all know he did that to himself after the whole grain fiasco.
Now, Larry, our viewers are here for blood, not politics.
Look, I'm just saying if he had decreased the price...
Yeah, we get it.
Alright, fine. Democratis, tell us a little about Tansy, please.
Happily. So, Tansy here has absolutely zero combat experience, but due to his status, tarnished or otherwise, he does have an entourage, meaning he'll have 2 bodyguards in every fight.
Now, doesn't that seem a little unfair for the other fighters?
Possibly, but without them, he would just be a meat shield and there'd be no spectacle. Let the man have it.
As you've seen him in prepping, you'll note he's only got a wooden stick, basically, to defend himself. He'll have to get lucky in his first round to go up against either super easy opponents, or hope his bodyguards can dish out most of the damage.
That he will, Larry. And speaking of our first round bout, it seems Tansy will be fighting in the Tarantia City Center for his opening bout, and the organizer has allowed the Spoils of Victor effect to be placed. This allows Tansy to potentially leave the arena with a better weapon.
I mean, yeah, assuming he survives.
Ah, true. So Larry, you've seen your fair share of combat. What do you think's going through our politician's mind right now?
Honestly, it could be anything. He could be thinking about anything from where the best place on the human body it is to hit with a wooden bat, to what he intends to eat for lunch. Those first round nerves are no joke.
Did you just call me? Never mind. It seems Tansy was able to get off a few good hits. He may actually have a chance in the arena after all.
Yeah, get rid of his guards and then we can talk.
You're not a fan of him, are you?
Look, all I'm saying is the arena isn't a place for just anyone. You can't just walk in and think you'll be able to win over the population that you were unable to win in the polls.
Alright, I guess fair, and looks like the bodyguard took that last hit from Tansy, but the crowd seems pretty frustrated with him, even though they're getting good blood.
Well, I mean, here's the problem. The crowd's a fickle beast. They may love you one second and hate you the next. What Tansy should worry about more is simply staying alive and making sure his weapon's in range. It looks like he's starting to form a bad habit of getting too close to his opponents.
For our viewers at home, what is the problem with that?
Well, outside of being in striking range of your opponent, if you don't hit them with the strong business end of your weapon, you're gonna probably hit them with the hilt to the pommel of your weapon. If you're really close, you'll hit your wrist and potentially disarm yourself. It's excitement for the crowd, not so much for you.
Well, it looks like Yellow's down to their last man. It seems Tansy may actually be able to pull out their first victory.
Look, I'll admit it, I'm impressed. Bodyguard or not, I had my money on him eating dirt first round.
Larry, are we even allowed to gamble?
Well, it doesn't specifically say we can't, so I think I'm good.
Well, in any case, you just lost your bet, because with that last hit, Tansy takes out the last Yellow fighter and cinches his first victory here in the arena. Congratulations to him. So Larry, give me a quick breakdown. What should Tansy be looking at when it comes to his next fight?
Well, look, there's a lot of things. First, you have to head to the healer. For any aspirant out there, never forget the healer. Second up, Tansy lost a lot of potential fame, mostly due to what he's wearing. That crown, for example, it's gotta go. Everyone is equal in the eyes of the arena. That wreath just shows privilege and the crowd hates it.
While we watch Tansy here get ready for the next match, can you explain what's going on for those who are new to the arena?
Absolutely. So, Tansy's in a bit of a pickle. He's got money, but very little fame, meaning that he's not able to see a wider selection in the store. So if there's nothing he likes, he can't buy anything, or won't. He also looked like he was thinking of training, but chose not to. Absolute rookie mistake. If you can, you should always train, especially for someone like Tansy, who has absolutely no skills.
Doesn't saying like no skills feel kind of demeaning?
Not if it's true.
Well, I'll have to leave that to our audience. It does seem Tansy's trying to find out what he wants to do this week and has chosen to go with the 1v1. Though, as you are all aware, he'll actually have his entourage with him.
See, that's the problem. A 1v1 is a sacred duel to the death, but instead, Tansy's just bringing his boys to put someone down so that he can make a little bit more money and survive another week.
Well, we'll have to see about survival. Tansy still barely has any armor, so a good clean hit could still end him. This week's battle, though, is in the small pit, a personal favorite of mine.
This is where you and I agree on this. The small enclosure allows for that high-octane blood sport we all come to watch.
I don't know what octane is.
Gasoline?
guess so. Never mind. Look, this is a luck of the draw fight, meaning that the audience actually throws in all sorts of items, and our aspirants must use what they find to beat each other to a pulp.
Personally, my favorite arena modifier is that forces our combatants to potentially use different weapons and think on their feet.
And thinking on his feet is exactly what Tansy has done, having picked up the Bronze Dacra. This is a great weapon for slashing, and the fact that his combatant has no armor should allow for a clean victory.
Clean is debatable, but victory is undeniable, with Tansy getting that last hit in, actually cleaving his opponent in two, and possibly hitting his bodyguard in the process.
In my opinion, that was a pretty good fight. Yeah, the bodyguards made it a little easier for him, but to his credit, Tansy was all up in that fight the whole time. He does deserve some level of respect for that.
I'll admit it, when we were told that we were going to have to be covering this politician, I assumed he was going to hide behind his bodyguards every fight, but he does appear to actually be putting himself out there and giving some level of effort.
Hey, sounds like he might be a supporter then.
No, it's the second week. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, alright? Oh, interesting. It looks like Tansy's learned that the armor he was wearing made him look like a coward. By selling it, he may be able to increase how much fame he can get, as people will stop seeing him as a sniveling, cowardly politician.
You just really went into him on that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, in any case, looks like Tansy's next fight is going to be a pit fight, where he and his entourage will go up against a battery of other aspirants without a break.
Ooh, I love a good pit fight. The important thing to do is to make sure that you don't expend your energy all at once. Pit fights are endurance tests, unlike tournaments where you get to rest in between your bouts. The important thing to remember is that a new aspirant will be introduced to the field at certain intervals, even if the prior combatant has not fallen. So, Democratis, let me ask you something here. Tansy continues to wear absolutely no armor. Any read on why that might be?
You know, it's funny you bring it up, because I was going to ask you the same thing. It seems like an incredibly stupid idea, but I mean, he could be trying to impress the crowd. It could be a statement like, I don't need armor to win.
That seems really stupid, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, you're not a politician, so what would you know? Although, that being the case, I 100% agree, armor will absolutely save your life.
True, but a good defense is a strong offense, and Tansy appears to have neither of those.
You saw those whiffs, didn't you?
Oh yeah. At that rate, he'll just end up killing himself due to overexertion.
He is really struggling here, isn't he?
Oh yeah, it's like watching a child figure out how to swing a bat for the first time. It's adorable.
I mean, sure, if that bat had spikes on it and missing meant getting cut in half. Hopefully his bodyguards will be able to help out, because this is not Tansy's round.
It does appear that Tansy's pulling back a little to allow his bodyguards to take some of the heat, and it looks like the gambit paid off with a swift hit in the back, taking out one of his opponents.
Isn't a hit in the back considered pretty cowardly, though?
I mean, it can be. The crowd can love it or hate it. You just gotta read the room, so to speak.
Well, the consistent battering of the opponent's backside while they deal with the bodyguard does appear to be working in Tansy's favor. He was definitely struggling there for a bit.
Oh yeah, but now it's a 3 versus 1, and all 3 of them seem to have the energy to finish up the fight. I gotta say, Yellow Team don't have much hope left here, honestly.
Say what you will, that menacing walk done by the yellow aspirant can really hype up a crowd. He probably knows he's lost this, but he's going to put on a show till the bitter end.
See, and that's the difference between a true arena combatant and some random politician trying to get back into the good graces of the people. Masterclass in performance from the Yellow Team.
Speaking of masterclass performance, he's doing a great job of holding off Tansy and his men.
True, but it also helps that Tansy was flailing around like an infant for a moment. But, flailing or not, the numbers simply overwhelmed and Tansy secured his next victory. Shout out to that anonymous yellow aspirant. You were a true warrior of the arena.
Okay, so Larry, what exactly is Tansy's goal here? He seems to have a couple of victories under his belt, so honestly, what's his long-term play here?
Very important question. So his aim here is to please at least 3 of the 4 hosts. You know, he wants their favor. By doing so, they'll vouch for him in the next election, which for the most part should give him a lot of support to win his seat back. To do that though, he's going to have to take on more and more difficult challenges.
I don't imagine that's the easiest thing to do.
Oh, no, absolutely not. The hosts, frankly, are incredibly fickle and petulant. By participating in one host's fight, the other 3 resent you. Tansi will have to do what he does best and bribe them for favor.
That was another political dig, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to simply ignore that and move on. Looks like Tansi's feeling bold and is not only placing a bet on himself, but is also going to take an elite fight. These can be incredibly difficult, but I imagine with his past wins and entourage, he believes he has a chance to win.
And yet, he once again takes in hardly any armor. He's either incredibly stupid or incredibly arrogant. Honestly, we'll just have to watch and see.
It can always be both.
It's most likely both.
Alright, so elite fight. What can we expect?
Well, it depends on who the elite is, but for the most part, the aspirant will first go up against a few smaller, weaker individuals, and then the elite will show up. Though if the fight takes too long, the elite will just show up, even if the weaker ones are still on the field.
It, once again, looks like Tansi's struggling with getting his distance right and is mostly hitting armor.
Combat's difficult. It's not advisable you just pick up a weapon and assume you'll know how to use it. Tansi's lack of training is really starting to show here.
You should be grateful for those bodyguards. They appear to be carrying him forward in this fight.
Oh, absolutely. I hope they're paid well.
Agreed. I know we could use a little bit of a pay bump. just saying. But it does look like Tansi is continuing to use the strike from behind tactic. It's proving quite effective for him.
We now have a gang up of 3-on-1. If this combatant falls, then the elite will come out to play.
With that death and that horn sound, the elite will now be entering the battlefield. This has some pretty good odds for Tansi. He seems to have good energy, and both his bodyguards are still up.
While true, look at this monster. He's got a full-plated helmet, 2 armored arms, a shield, and a claw. Those claws are no joke. They're fragile if smashed against armor, but are brutal when they rip through flesh.
Looks like the 3 have him surrounded, but appear to be failing to do any meaningful damage.
Yes. Shouldn't be long now.
You have the bet on the elite, don't you?
Oh, I have the bet on the elite.
Well, let's see if it pays off. Tansi just took a brutal hit from that claw, and as you can clearly see, he is struggling. This may be it for our washed-up politician.
You could tell he's starting to really get scared as he had a perfect shot to do massive damage to the unarmored back and just failed miserably.
Things are getting tense here in the arena. The crowd appears very angry with Tansi for missing that shot.
He may not be long for this world. We see him desperately trying to get in any hit he can, and this energy that he has seems to be affecting his guards, who just don't seem to be doing as much as they probably could be.
And with a backhand swing, not even aimed at him, Tansi bites the dust. Another aspirant dies, tasting not victory, but the cold, metallic taste of their own blood and defeat.
Well, it was good while it lasted.
You didn't like him.
No, I did not.
Well, with that, folks, thank you again for tuning in to We Who Are About to Die's live commentary. I'm Democratis.
And I'm Larry.
And it was an absolute pleasure to be with you through this journey. We hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.